Hi, I'm Dr. Pedersen. Today I'll be teaching you how to do a psoas or a hip flexor stretch. Your psoas muscle is very important in maintaining tone from the front of your spine in your low back and in your pelvis. It is a major cause of low back pain and low back tightness. Also kind of pain sometimes that'll be here in the front. In our society, because we sit so much, we sit in our cars, we sit at work, we go home, and a lot of times we'll sit watching TV, playing video games, sitting on our computers. All those things cause tightness in this muscle. A classic thing with someone that has a problem with this is when they sit for a while, when they go to get up, they'll feel like, gosh, I just can't straighten up. And what they'll do is kind of get a what we call a lordosis, or an arch in their back here, and their butts will kind of stick out. Instead of standing up straight, feeling that they can be tall and straight, they'll kind of have this hunched over posture. Sometimes you'll even see them where they have to push up like this. They feel like, that's the only way I can really get myself up. After they've walked around a little bit, they'll feel that that muscle's loosened up. Got a book here called Myofascial Pain and Dysfunction. The Trigger Point Manual is actually written by President Kennedy's physician, Janet Travell, MD. And she goes in, I'm going to show you a picture here. On page 90 of this book. I never have to look in this book. And it shows the psoas muscle there kind of coming off of the lumbar spine, going down into the pelvis and attaching there on the lesser trochanter of the femur, or your hip bone. The psoas is the main muscle that brings the leg forward and gait. If you look on this side here, you can see that it causes pain in a referral pattern that radiates on the back there. This is showing it on the right-hand side of the body, a right psoas muscle. But it can cause pain on either side, depending on which one you've got problems. When we're doing this stretch, I want you to pay attention to this photo here. We're going to want to feel the stretch on the front of the thigh there. So the psoas muscle, showing you here on the spine, attaches to the lumbar vertebra. It actually attaches to the front of the bones. It attaches to the intervertebral discs, and a lot of people will have disc problems. And it's a muscle that's pulling down on this and compressing the spine. It's a muscle that flexes us forward, but more importantly, it's pulling our hip forward when we're walking. It's the main muscle that brings the leg forward and gait. It's actually a combination. It's called the iliopsoas muscle. The psoas muscle, major and minor divisions, coming off of the lumbar spine here, and the iliacus portion coming off of the iliac crest here of what you would consider your hips, although your hips are down here. And then this is your femur, your hip bone, and this little nubbin that's right here, that's called your lesser trochanter nubbin, and your lesser trochanter, and that is there because the psoas attaches into it and kind of pulls the bone a little bit. That's why that skeletal bump is there. So the first thing in learning how to do this stretch, and the reason I wanted to make a video of it, is it's very subtle. It's not like a hamstring stretch. You can see what I'm doing if you saw a picture of it. If it was a quadricep stretch, you could see what I was doing if I was doing that in a picture. This is a very subtle stretch, so pay attention to the details as we go through this. This is not the stretch, but you need to be able to do this motion. We're going to rotate just around the hips, and we're going to rotate the core and the pelvis. I'm going to leave my upper body exactly where it's at and my lower body exactly where it's at. And all I'm going to do is roll my pelvis forward and then roll it backwards, sticking my butt out. So forward and back. I know it's kind of funny. Forward and back. Okay. You need to have that motion before we go on to the next stage. Then you're going to grab a towel or a pillow, something for your knee, because you're going to be down on one knee. We're going to take and go down on the knee of the muscle that we want to stretch. It's very important here. I'm at a 90-degree angle on both sides. I am not leaning forward like this. I'm going to bring my calf out to the side. I can stabilize myself on something, and then I'm just going to roll my pelvis forward again, rolling right around the hips. You can feel that there. I'm going to hold this for 45 seconds. Do this 3 times on each side. I would switch it up. Again, being here, taking my calf out to the side a bit and rolling my pelvis underneath me, feeling the stretch on the front of my quadricep muscle. The important thing here is we are not going to come forward and do this. Although that'll feel like a stretch, it is not stretching preferentially to the psoas. And then sometimes I'll see patients and they do this. Right? That's a stretch of something, I don't know what, but that's definitely not stretching the psoas. So I'm upright here. Important thing to remember is I bring my calf out to the side and I am rolling my pelvis underneath me.